Okay, so how could I have defined take line using take while? Well, if I want to take a line from a list of characters, I want to take while. What do I want to take while? Something is not a new line character. Okay, so I need to build a function which tests whether something is not a new line character. Okay, so how do we build a function that we don't have to hand? Well, one way is to define it locally. We've already seen that. Let's look at another way of building a function that we need from existing functions, and that is to use an anonymous function, a so-called lambda expression. How many of you have seen lambda expressions in some other programming language? A small number of you. So a lambda expression is an expression which defines a function without giving it a name, a so-called anonymous function. So what does a lambda expression look like? Well, it's a function defined by describing what the argument is. So in Haskell, that's written with a backslash character, and that's supposed to look a little bit like a lambda from the Greek a small letter lambda, and then followed by the argument to the function. Let's call the argument x, and then an arrow, and then the definition of the body of the function. What should the function do? Given an argument x, this is a function which should not, test whether x is not equal to the new line character. A lot of slashes and backslashes in this definition. It's a frenzy of slashes and backslashes. So that's one way we could use our general function to define a specific function, namely take line. So take line is take while things that you take are not the new line character. Okay, so this is our first example of a lambda expression. Now, actually, people associate lambda expressions with functional languages. They go hand in hand. The idea of a notation for defining anonymous functions is a very old one, and it is often thought to be the core of functional programming. But in fact, given that it's the core of functional programming in many people's eyes, it's used surprisingly little in Haskell. And the reason for that is we actually have lots of other ways of building functions, and this is just one of them.